Hey guys, it's Fultoncards here, live and direct from Brooklyn, New York. And today I'm actually going to simply do a recap of a box of the Between the Pipes Masked Men. No, it's just called Between the Pipes 2010-2011. And I'm a big proponent of these products. They run for some $35, $40. You can get them at decent prices now. And so it's a Between the Pipes product, which is in the game. And there are 18 packs per box, 9 cards per pack. To keep things simple, I'm just going to do a recap today, just to keep things a little bit more focused, as opposed to my long, sprawling videos. I've already opened up a box of this, so this is my second time opening up a box. And I'm always excited to do it. Just so in terms of the base set is really 200 cards, but it's tiered. So from 1 to 80, you have future stars. Above that, you have stars of the game, which is sort of a lower subset or lower checklist. Then you have greats of the game, which are sort of historical greats of the game, which is even a smaller subset of the 200. And then you have the immortals. So those would be, that's sort of the tiering of the 200 card base set. And you can see how the stacks run from the future stars, which may or may not establish themselves in the NHL, to the stars, to the greats, to the immortals, and they're sort of in descending order in terms of the amount you'll get. So let me very quickly go over what I did get. And just in terms of the product, and to maybe do a quick recap of the product, there are authentic game used memorabilia cards that come 1 in 8 packs. The autographs come 1 in 8 packs, as do the other insert cards, as do the Masked Men 3 cards. And the Masked Men are sort of close-ups on the goalie's face in the mask, and it sort of metallic look. And every year they have a different series of Masked Men, and it's a very cherished subset. And you really only will get 2 or 3 per box. So let's see what I got. So what I did get is I got a bunch of the future stars. So the future stars are essentially players who may or may not sort of establish themselves in the NHL. A lot of them would be AHLers or people who are not are playing for other teams like Bridgeport, etc., etc. So you would have Byzantine, who played with Team Canada. There's Pogey. Jake Allen did make it and had a decent career in the NHL, if a little bit inconsistent. So who else? Lerner from Buffalo, Darcy Kemper. There's Bishop. So we have Bishop, who of course established himself very well in the NHL, is probably a star. Louis Domingue. So those are the ones you'd have. There's Malcolm Subban playing with Belleville. And that's the big stack of the future stars, running from 1 through some 80. So then next we would have the stars of the game. And of this, it's a smaller subset, and it's everybody who established themselves in the NHL primarily as number 1 goaltenders. So we would have Rask, Halak, Lettinen, Osgood, Bernier, Varlamov, Raycroft, Harding, Thomas, Vizgalov, Niemi, Kiprasov. All of these players. There's Marc-Andre Fleury, Nabokov, Hiller, Rene, Crawford, Ward, Howard, all really well known. So that's the second subset, running from some 80 up into the whatever numbers, the 120s, etc., etc. Then the next subset of the 200 base would be the greats of the game. So we got a stack of those. And they include Denis Herron, who played for the Montreal Canadiens as well as Pittsburgh, and Minnesota. And there's Steve Penney. There's Glenn Hall. There's Rogie Vachon, who played primarily with LA. There's Kirk McLean, Esposito, Dion, Fuhr. So I got Roy. I hit the Roy. I hit the John Garrett, who's now an analyst out west, but he was with Vancouver. There's Mike Vernon. There's Hasek, Tom Barrasso, who was a great goalie. There's Mike Richter, Bannerman, Van Beesbroek, Perrin, Bouchard, and there's Tretiak, one of the best goalies of the 1970s, if not the best goalie, and Brodeur, and there's Curtis Joseph. So those were the stars of the game. Then in terms of the very, very sort of narrow list of players of the Immortals, I hit Tiny Thompson, George Hainsworth, Vizina, Jacques Plante, Turk Broda, Gump Worsley, and I also hit Pelle Lindbergh, who infamously died in a car crash, I guess with his sports car. So in terms of other inserts, very quickly, there is a subset of women, and I believe this subset is only like 3 cards. We hit Charlene Labonte and we hit Kim St. Pierre. So those are the 2 that we hit of the, I believe it's literally only 3 cards in the high 180s. And then there's a one-hit wonder, which is, I believe, only 1 card. It could be that this is only 1 card because I believe I've hit this before. And it's Tom Fenton, who's deemed a one-hit wonder. You almost could say the same thing with Steve Penney. So what else did I hit? In terms of inserts, I did hit this Deep in the Crease, which is of Marty Brodeur and New Jersey. So it's a New Jersey connection. Johan Hedberg, Marty Brodeur, Jeff Frazee, and Scott Wedgwood. So this is basically all New Jersey folks. And it's the OC17, so that's a checklist. So that's a separate checklist. In terms of other inserts, I did hit this one here, which is a blue and white net. And so this subset between the pipes guarding the blue paint, or guarding the white and blue net, is, I guess, Felix Potvin, obviously. And he's a really good one to hit because, you know, he's really sort of was a beloved goalie back in his era. And who else would be in that subset? I can just look it up very quickly. Guarding the... So there's Guarding the Bleu Blanc Rouge, so there is a separate subset just for the Habs. But in terms of the Toronto goaltenders, there's Lauren Chabot, there's Turk Broda, there's Harry Lumley, there's Johnny Bauer, there's Mike Palmetier, Alan Bester, Felix Potvin, Cujo, Giguère, and James Reimer. So those would be the ones you would get in this particular subset. And I hit the Felix Potvin, which is a nice one to get. I still have yet to hit a Hab though, so that's a little bit disappointing. And so what else did I get? In terms of hits, like considered real hits, big hits, here we go. Well, let me just flip these over. So these are the Masked Men 3. As I said, the cherished, beloved subset of Masked Men. And I hit Brian Elliott, a green sort of metallic looking Brian Elliott. And then I hit this Rolly the goalie, so this Dwayne Roloson. And I guess this is... So they mentioned that he was traded from the Islanders to the Lightning, and of course a lot of people know him with his years in on a Stanley Cup run with Edmonton years ago too. So, and then the last one I hit was Carey Price. So I hit the Masked Men of Carey Price. That's really great. I was very happy to hit the Carey Price. Very, very lucky. So I have one of his Masked Men. And as I said, these are a very cherished subset to collect for various reasons. So those 3. So what else did I collect? I'll just go over my 2 game used hits. So the first hit of my game used was of Nabokov of your San Jose Sharks. So it's like a 2-colored, really, really nice game used, and it's from their Golden Goalies 2008 World Championship Golden Goalies subset. And so it's sort of like I guess a generic silver Golden Goalies series materials card. And then the other game used I hit a black game used, and that subset runs I think over 70 cards, and I happened to hit the Marty Brodeur. So it's just a plain patch, a plain black patch, but the game used black variety I think are sort of cherished. And happening to hit the Marty Brodeur is a big deal because he's bar none one of the top 5 goalies to ever play the game, at least statistically. It's sort of a documented fact. And he also has 3 Stanley Cups to prove it. So that was very good. So I got a Nabokov and I got a Between the Pipes of a black jersey of our man Marty Brodeur. Last 2 cards are my auto cards. So I hit 2 autos, not 3, 2. And the first one would happen to be a Future Stars auto, and it was of Malcolm Subban. So I hit Malcolm Subban. That made me very happy because Malcolm Subban, of course, is with Vegas right now, the Golden Knights, and he's looked good. He's been a bit injured, but he's actually been playing half decently, if not very well. So I got Malcolm Subban. Also, he's a known player. It's easy to also just get sort of turkeys. You might get someone who's not known. And then finally, I got, guess who? I got Curtis Mcillhenny. So this guy here is right now playing for the Toronto Maple Leafs. And luckily for me, it's a great time to hit him because he's sort of really cherished. I think in 2017, 2017-18 this year, his save percentage is up around 930, and he's been an unbelievably serviceable backup for the Toronto Maple Leafs. So I'm very happy about that, and so I got an autograph of Curtis Mcillhenny, which is a nice thing to add to my collection. Very happy to hit someone who's relevant, who's playing really good hockey, and has a little bit of sentimental value to Canadians, certainly to people in Ontario or those who support the Leafs. And I'm a Montreal Canadiens fan, but I love goaltenders, and I love seeing backup goaltenders do well. I think it's so hard to make it to the show, and the few people who do, I'd like to see them at least have certain spans of their career where they reap the rewards and the success, and people recognize them, and when they walk into a Harvey's, for people to run up to them and tell them how great they are. I think it's a real sweet thing because a lot of these cats basically spend all their time on buses, and on the ice practicing, and you have no idea how hard it is to make it there. And I know that because I play competitively too, and my little nephew does as well. So that's it. That's my break. So I happen to get two autos, both well known. I happen to get Carey Price. I happen to get a Brodeur. I'm happy, and this is a really good product. I paid under $40 for it, for the Between the Pipes 2010, 2011. I'll break a couple of these boxes from different years, and I would happen to be Fultoncards live and direct from Brooklyn.